Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Bulletproof Marketer. I am your fearless host, your unapologetic guide, maybe, through the marketing trenches. We don't just chase trends on the Bulletproof Marketer, we bulldoze them. Exactly. Isn't that wonderful? That was a line that was written for me, did not come from me originally. Anyway, love it. I hope that you are all doing really fantastic. The reception from the first episode of this season was really great. I really appreciate all your kind feedback. It's really nice to hear. It's great for me to be back. I love talking with you folks every single week about all of the digital marketing news, strategies, tips, tactics, everything that's floating around, as well as answering any problems or concerns that you have as a professional trying to harness the power of the digital world. Lots of really great things going on here. If you want more details or to learn more about the Bulletproof Marketer, we have some really great links in our bio that you should check out. You can also sign up for our newsletter that we are going to be putting out again starting very soon on a bi-weekly basis. So that's going to be coming out. And that's great because it's packed with only the most useful tips and strategies that I have found work. So again, sign up for that and they'll go directly into your inbox. So what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be focusing on LinkedIn. I was talking to a few people over the last few weeks, and LinkedIn is like the hot topic, right? Now, this is funny because I'm sure other experts out there or my peers are listening and going, like, LinkedIn's been around forever and it's fantastic. Yeah, that's great. But when people are starting to wake up to the power of it, you as a marketer have more power to really harness it and create success for the client or your boss or your company, whatever you're working with, your brand. So with that in mind, I'm going to go through not you need to have an optimized profile and make sure your content's killer. You know what? This is like the digital age. We should all know that this is something that is step one that we need to do. I'm going to give you a couple little known or little paths that are not fully paved. They are ones that a lot of people have not been using to the full effectiveness, but I think that if you were to jump in, you would get a lot of success. So I want to give you some fresh takes aside from just posting great content, having a killer profile, connecting with the right people and engaging. There's more to it than just the kind of the usual LinkedIn 3-step, which is optimization, content, and engagements. So we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. I wanted just to talk to you about one of the things I'm seeing in my life. As you probably know, I am the owner of the CEO and head strategist of the Go Agency, which is a digital marketing agency. If you need help, give me a shout. We work with lots of different industries and we've been around since 2009. So that gives us nearly 16 years in the game as an agency. And it's interesting because I always see different things evolve and some major changes and shifts every single week. As you can tell, I like talking to people. I like networking. No, it's not just listening to the sound of my own voice. I really do learning more about people and understanding what their struggles are and how I can fix it, just because that brings me a lot of joy. And as we all know, when you're doing marketing, any sort of trophies and roses that you can give yourself is fantastic because as marketers, I don't want to say it's a thankless job because it's not, but we don't always get all the glory. So I know as a lifelong marketer, I've found ways to fulfill my own soul and pat myself on my own back when needed. And I think that one of the reasons that I am able to do that is because I really do enjoy fixing problems. So I see trends shift through how the people that I'm talking to are presenting them. And it's interesting because this is like a little bit of a precursor to our LinkedIn discussion in a few minutes. And it's that when I remember, I would say probably 10 years ago, when I would talk to a company, it would always be about when we're talking about social, right? It was always about Facebook. Now, if I'm talking to a company that is not e-commerce, D2C, and they lead with Facebook, and Facebook is their whole strategy, I can see where they are in their digital journey because Facebook tends to be the starting point. Why not? That's where my cousins are. That's where my aunts are. That's where my grandmothers are. You know what I mean? You have family, you have friends, you have peers. So that makes sense. It's everyone has it, everyone does it, whatever. But the world has evolved in the last 10 years quite extensively with Instagram and Threads and TikTok, a lot of different things. Twitter changing to X, all of these different things. So when LinkedIn comes up as a subject matter, it is one of those topics back in the day where it was only for finding jobs. Now, I agree with anybody that's out there that thinks that LinkedIn is pretty. I'm sorry, I'm petting my gorgeous dogs. I have Charlie and Olive here at my feet being absolutely adorable. Pictures on our website, thegoagency.com. I'll plug them. They have positions on our about page. It's all very adorable. But when I am talking to people now about LinkedIn, the conversation has shifted a bit because they are understanding, professionals are understanding the impact that LinkedIn can make. Also, they are getting suggestions pushed down on them from upper management or clients that they're working with that LinkedIn is where it needs to be. We need to make it happen, get it going, get it popping. And what's interesting is that now it's not just about recruitment and finding jobs. I'm finding that people are talking more about thought leadership campaigns, how to build up brand equity on the company page, and what extra bells and whistles can we do to build engagement and just get people to consume our content. I've even had people that led LinkedIn conversations talking about how boosting would actually work on LinkedIn content. And all of this to me is absolutely music to my ears because I'm on the same level of understanding of what a platform can do. No, I'm not saying the same level of understanding, but I can understand exactly what they're trying to get and then offer them the right road and the right phases to get there. So one of the things is I wanted to focus on LinkedIn today because of that. I've seen a real dramatic shift as to the importance of LinkedIn in the food chain of digital. So literally the other week, I was talking to a prospective client and they mentioned to me that they wanted to execute their newsletter on LinkedIn, not on an email provider like a Klaviyo or a MailChimp or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, can we start work tomorrow? I love this way that you're thinking. This is spot on. It's such a cool idea. It's such a cool way of approaching it from your standpoint. Because I will tell you some of the things that we do for our clients. We do basically every single lever that we're able to push on LinkedIn. We're going to try to push it if it's relevant to the campaign. But it's nice to see the understanding has evolved on the powers of LinkedIn. And if you are listening to this or watching me on YouTube, I think that if you have not really dove deep into LinkedIn, it's time for you to start getting in there. And if I were to give you a hot tip of the best way to look at LinkedIn, it would be this. Think of LinkedIn as a networking event, a conference, a trade show floor, a breakout session. Think about it in those types of terms. Now, if you're going to one of those events and you are walking in, are you going to walk in and there's a group of people talking and you're going to go in and you're going to start handing out your business cards while they're in the middle of their conversation and saying, bye from me? No, because people are going to think you're an idiot and people are going to think that you're rude. Okay, so if that doesn't work in the real world, it's not going to work on LinkedIn. So then let's continue to draw those parallels. People don't like to be sold to when they don't even know who you are. Guess who else doesn't like to be sold to if you don't know the person? You don't like to be randomly picked and emailed about things, right? Unless there is some sort of personal connection that has been grown or even presented in the email. You get a cold email and it says, hi, John, I've seen your outstanding work with Company X. And then you could tell it's a fill in. Of course, ice cold, bye bye. But if it says something, yeah, here we go. If you're trying to get my attention, I just talked about my two adorable little puppies. And if you mention, hey, oh my gosh, I love golden doodles. Olive and Charlie are absolutely adorable. How old are they? Hey, you got my attention. You're talking to me. You thought about me, you considered me, and you're approaching me like a human person. Much like you can do at a networking event offline. You're trying to make those connections. So it's not about pumping out tons of content. I need 45 pieces of content a day, tons of keywords. You need to be a human being and enter in LinkedIn as a human being would do. And you need to converse with humans. Yes, I'm sorry, you have to be interested in other people or feign interest. If you are an extroverted person, you'll lean into it. If you're an introverted person, LinkedIn is still, you're still behind a screen, right? You're still able to flex your muscles without having to do a face-to-face type meeting. With all of that said, LinkedIn, if you are not getting involved with it outside of recruitment, you should definitely start building up a little bit of time every single day that you can go in and take a look at what's going on. Clicking around and seeing what things are, how things work, just getting a little bit more of a lay of the land. And if you are a C-suite person and you wanted to have someone else execute that for you, it's still useful for you to understand, because you want to understand how your voice, how your brand, and how your tone will be developed so that when someone else takes it over, you can manage it from afar. Now, I don't want to get too much in the weeds, which I tend to do because I want to keep helping, but just get involved. I think if you are involved with LinkedIn, let's go into the next topic, which is going to be some forgotten LinkedIn levers. Okay. So in this segment, I want to really talk about a couple of the things that I think are really good for you to really dive into a little bit more deeply on LinkedIn. Now, there's going to be three, just so you know. And are these three the be all and end all? No, but these are really good ones that people sleep on the reg. And I don't think that we need to be sleeping on them anymore. Because, like I said, just spent like 6 minutes talking about how many more people are getting involved on LinkedIn, how many people are waking up to the power of it. Don't let the wave crash underneath you. If you already know the power, LinkedIn is trying to build engagement. They're trying to get you to spend more time a day on the site, clicking around, doing things. So they're offering better ways for you to promote your business. So let's talk about these forgotten LinkedIn levers. So the first one is group marketing. Now, is this forgotten? I don't think it's forgotten. I think it's just ignored, or it's a bit of a head scratch as to how to utilize it. Now, LinkedIn groups are free. They're pretty unsaturated, depending on where you go. If you're going to go into an open networking group, it's going to be very saturated. But what's really good about it is that you can have a discussion with the target audience of your choice. Now, do you have to be a member of that target audience in order to join it? You have to make sense in terms of what actually would happen. So if you are going to be joining a group for veterans and you're not a veteran, that doesn't really work. But what if you were joining a veterans group and you provided a veterans insurance policy that was backed by the VA? That makes you relevant. Now, I'm sure people could still argue that point, but that's my opinion, folks. So there you go. That's how I would approach it. So with all of this said, there's tons of groups. I'm not going to grab a number because I don't know. These groups can be small, super niche, private, local, that it could be like 5 members, 2 members. Like international, that could have hundreds of thousands plus members in these groups. Now, each group has a lot of different rules. There's lots of different things for you to read through when you are joining them. Again, this is on the groups tab, so you can search for a topic. Say you want to say digital marketing. That's what we're talking about today. If you put that into the search bar on LinkedIn, it's going to pull up all the results. You just sort the results. They'll have like different tabs across underneath that search bar, and groups is one of them. You click on groups, and baby, there you go. You can start looking through those groups. The 2 entry points to finding groups that are going to be highly relevant for you are going to be ones that have the same keywords that you use to identify members of your target audience, and possibly anybody that you are identifying as a target. Obviously, you understand the keywords that you'd be using to find members of your target audience. The next one, though, is what about one of those key people? Do you have a key avatar of Jason Smith from XYZ company, a global company with over 1,000 people? You know what I mean? You have your stats, but you have that one person. If you can find that person on LinkedIn or people that are like that avatar, at the very bottom of their profile, it will show you what groups that they're involved with. That will help you understand what people in your target audience are looking at. So if this person, this Jason Smith we're talking about, is engaged on LinkedIn, you can very easily see what groups he's involved with. And you can do this to multiple people. If your sales department has identified a lead that's really hot and oh my God, they're fantastic and they're so easy to sell to and they're going to close so fast, that's the type of person I would like to see if I can model another target avatar after. I would look on their profile. I would see what groups they're involved with. I would see if they post. I would see all sorts of different things. And then I would explore the groups from there. So 2 inroads, one through search and one through people that you feel are exemplary members of your target audience, I should say. How do I vet a group? Depends on what I'm doing. If I'm working on different clients, I have different strokes for every single one of them. If it's an oil and gas client, I'm looking for a whole different set versus a D2C company versus a national speaker versus a local nonprofit or regional nonprofit. Each one of those would have a different level because maybe I don't need a high number of people involved in that group. Maybe I want it to be super active. There's just different things that you want to look at. So I think that overriding, you want to see if anybody is having a conversation in this group. You want to see if it is the right people. So you want to take a look and see if you can see who the members are. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. And then see if these are the types of people that you want to have conversations with. Newsflash, folks, not every single person that you see in a group or on LinkedIn is going to be your end consumer. Much like when you go on the trade show floor and you're walking around and you go over to a booth and the person that you're talking to is a salesperson, not a marketing person. So guess what? You suck it up and you're just as warm as you would be to that marketing person. And you endear yourself to that salesperson who then says, oh, this is a great conversation and idea. I'm going to get you in touch. Let me grab the marketing person, or let me give you his card, or that's an influencer. So it may not be your end user, but it's influencers of your end user, if you're following me. So then what you would do is just see if people are engaging in that group. Is there an engagement rate? Is there anything going on? Sometimes you have to join the group in order to find that out. It's all blocked until you join, and it's like crickets, or it's the same person posting again and again, or every post has 0 comments. Get the hell out of there. And how long should you wait? 4 seconds, and then you get the hell out of there and then go find another one to replace it. I would say that if I was looking for a solid LinkedIn group strategy, you should have at least one thought-provoking post per week. You can do a poll, whatever. Just don't be self-promotional. And if you're going to be self-promotional, angle it in a way that it doesn't seem so self-promotional, because nobody likes 20% off our subscriptions for 1 month only. Click the comments for the code. No, this isn't clickbait. These are people that are getting together as a group that is meeting separately from the whole conference about one subject matter. So we're thinking about that networking thing, right? So we'll get that breakout session of this really niche group. So we need to make sure that our conversations fit there. So if you have multiple different target audiences that you're trying to hit, what I wouldn't do is write one LinkedIn group post and then post it in all of those, because it's not going to be hyper relevant. Hyper relevancy is really key to content, but this isn't a content conversation. This is just some LinkedIn levers that I want you to start exploring a little bit more. Another thing I will say, a pro tip on this, is to DM key members of the group that you join sparingly. Don't just constantly DM everybody, or, oh, this is my new lead list, everybody in this group, let's do it. If there is one person in particular that you have a meaningful reason why you need to reach out to, do it. But if you're like, okay, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to talk to every single person, I'm going to connect to every single person, that's not how it works. You want meaningful people that are within your network, not just random people. Okay? Moving on to number 2, which is events on LinkedIn. LinkedIn events are absolutely out of this world good. Now, if you're going to a conference I've consulted with, I've done campaigns for, I've advised many companies that are having amazing events. And these events sometimes are extremely corporate, they're extremely B2B centric, and they are spending a ton of money going to these events. Depending on what the event is and what the audience is of the event, it's probably going to live on LinkedIn. Some are incorrectly categorized as groups, so you can find events if you look in group search, or you can just find them as events on LinkedIn. The beauty is that once you join that event and say that you're RSVP and you're going, you don't have to pay. It's just you're part of that event page where you're going to get announcements. You're also going to see who's going to be going to that event. So you can see how people are talking. You can see if there's someone that you might want to message. You can even post something, but depending on the flavor of the overriding campaign that you're trying to execute. So if you're looking at the content and no one's doing self-promotional stuff, don't jump in there and say, hey, booth C24, we're giving away free keychains and a spin the wheel for this, that, and the other. So it's not going to be something like that. But at the end of the day, it is a really great opportunity for you to take a look at all of the different things that are going on around that event. Now, if that's a group, it's a little bit different because that event group will probably be evergreen, meaning it's been around for a long time. And you will have the opportunity of looking at all the older discussions, how people reacted to things, and a lot of really good, interesting information. It's another great way for you to pre-network because you can pre-network and you can also post-network. And if you're going to pre-network, it's really good idea for you to be able to do a couple of things. So the pre-promotion is really crucial because anytime that you're going to do an event, you should have what you're going to be doing at the event, what's your goal of the event, and then after the event, anyone that you met that you want to reconnect with and that kind of thing. But it's a really good idea to start looking for these types of things months in advance. Maybe like a couple months in advance is a good rule. I would say 90 days before the conference tends to be a pretty good rate because once you start looking at that group and you start interacting, you become visible. If you are, for example, visible and you're a speaker at that event, your visibility goes even higher. Also, more people may come to your breakout session, speech, or whatever your workshop, whatever you're doing at that conference. Or you can drive traffic to your booth if you are doing something that is actually meaningful to that audience. So when you're talking about LinkedIn events, there are anyone that you're attending. If you're attending an event in the real world, you can probably find it on LinkedIn. Not always. But that's for an event that you're going to attend. What if you're not going to attend and you're just interested in the conversation? You can search any type of event that you want on LinkedIn based on your keywords that you would look to find your target audience. So if, for example, CRO is a big issue for you in your D2C brand, and you're looking for the best ways for you to enhance that, maybe you're like, I wonder if there's any other people that are offering up that type of information on LinkedIn, or they have events or webinars or things like that. So you could even see how people are pitching. You can do that search, like I said, on LinkedIn, on the LinkedIn bar, as per usual. Then look in, you can sort it by events. Remember, I told you to sort by groups. You can sort by events and take a look. Click at them, see what's going on, look at their website. This is a very marketing centric approach because it's a lot of information gathering. It's a lot of preparing for A/B testing by consuming knowledge. But what I'm suggesting to you here is real-time research and information gathering through an active site rather than just saying, hey, ChatGPT, I need to find out what's the best way to target these people at this new conference. That's not as real as actually getting in there and doing that on LinkedIn. And why are they on LinkedIn doing it? Because they want business. They want to learn. They want to grow. They want to connect. People on LinkedIn understand the value of networking. Again, the people that are active on LinkedIn and successful understand the value of networking. So be one of those people. The next thing I want to go into is the LinkedIn Services Marketplace. So this is the third kind of secret lever on LinkedIn visibility, engagement, and growth. Now, this one is more focused on sales. So the LinkedIn Services Marketplace is hidden because it is something that is fairly new. I would say that this is something that has come up 2-3 months. So we're in June right now. So maybe this was April. I started to see these come through. And basically what happened and how I got into it, which is probably how you may have been introduced to it as well, if you've received this from LinkedIn, is that I received an invitation to add my service requests to my profile. So what I did was I added my services to my profile and that did open me up. Now, what happens is once you list your services on the LinkedIn marketplace, then you're matched through AI with anybody that's making a request for a proposal. At the moment, I do find the quality a little bit low in the matching and how they're handling the messages. Also, the people that are asking for help in my world, which is they're asking for help with digital marketing. If you're asking for help with digital marketing, you're probably utilizing the request platform, maybe inaccurate because you're not really skilled in that vein. So it's a little mishmash at the moment. I expect it to get better. So if you are not using it right now, you should. So I would say if you went on to, I believe it's on business.linkedin.com, I presume. And I believe it's open to all levels, but LinkedIn changes like whenever the wind blows. So double check it out. It might be open to everybody, but I'm sure you have to have an optimized profile and blah, blah, blah. There's probably some sort of bar of entry, but it is definitely something that you should be checking out. If you need to get more information on the LinkedIn services marketplace, just do some searches on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn Help will definitely give you some good quality articles that will get you up to speed. Now, LinkedIn Help articles will get you up to speed, but won't help you get there. They'll tell you what's great about it and how to get there, and then over to you, boo. So just know that there's not going to be hand holding along the whole way of that. But just to give you hope, I've been using the LinkedIn sales marketplace now since I've got it. I'm pretty choosy about what proposals I jump at because I'm really choosy about who I like to work with. But I have 2 consulting contracts off of the LinkedIn sales marketplace. So it does work. You just got to be patient because some of the requests I received, I was really hot on. And it was like, oh God, this is great. Thank you. I'd love to use you. But I couldn't figure out how to put the target as California. I didn't want the whole United States to be targeted for this job. So there's still those little teething issues. But that's it. So if we're talking about these LinkedIn that could be forgotten in terms of really boosting your campaign and getting some rocking and rolling going, definitely LinkedIn groups. Please don't sleep on those. Oh, also, if you ever share any sort of insight that links to your website in a group that's active and enjoying your content, it's really good for website traffic. You can get a lot of people to pages, but just obviously don't say, oh my God, here's a great article. And you go there and it's 75% off our offerings or something like that, because bait and switches are not hot on LinkedIn. And that's what gets you blocked and reported, because you don't want to get reported in your group because you'll get your butt kicked out. The next one being, of course, pre-event and post-event LinkedIn event marketing. So finding the LinkedIn event of something that you're going to or something that you want to go to, or look for other events that are related to the ones that your audience would go to. Join up, see what's going on there, jump in the conversation. And the last one is the LinkedIn Services Marketplace, where you're able to get offers sent, right? Requests for proposals, RFPs. We all love those, right? I love new business proposals and new opportunities and that kind of stuff. But anytime I hear the word RFP, I immediately think, gosh, this is going to take me freaking forever to get through. But anyway, these words on LinkedIn are much, much easier. They are probably the most basic RFPs you've ever seen in your entire life. Mark my words, very basic. But you're able to see if maybe there's some opportunities for you to get some meetings, build some sales, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely check that out. Business.linkedin.com will have that information. All right. So now I want to move over to something that has been bugging me, and I want to give you a little bit of a secret weapon. All right. I know a lot of you out there are using AI. Most of you are using ChatGPT. Some of you are using Claude, some are using Perplexity, some of you are using whatever the hell else is out there at this moment that's coming out every 5 seconds. So beautiful. Love that for us. But one of the things that you're probably finding, if you were just starting out, even if you're pretty experienced, the importance of the prompt that you're actually putting into the AI tool is really important to your initial output. Also, emotionally, if you are not, I know I'm going to be your therapist now. If you are doing GPT and you're saying, okay, I'm going to try this and I'm going to make this work. Okay, now what do I need? Okay, I need an industry report on this and I need all the columns. I need a template and boom. And then it comes out and it's the wrong industry. It's the wrong information. It doesn't know anything about you. It's all milquetoast and BS. And you're like, ugh. See, I knew this. What is this? What is a computer going to tell me that I don't even know? Okay, adorable. It's because garbage in, garbage out, folks. And what did I say before? Hyper relevancy. What is everybody talking about when they're talking about digital content? It needs to be hyper relevant to your audience. Guess what? AI is another audience. You have to be hyper relevant and hyper specific to what you want. So you don't speak to an AI tool as you would like just someone off the street. What you have to do is act like they're a new employee on your team and tell them exactly what you want and what you expect of them and what standard you're going to hold them to. And then when they come back with some messy bullshit, fix it. Say, no, this is absolutely unacceptable. I told you already that this is what we need. Obviously, whatever tone that you want works for me, but you have to go back and forth and back and forth. But the back and forth is a pain in the ass, right? You can stand there and it's, oh no, now it's only giving me half of the answer. Oh no, now it's giving me a part of it over here, part of it over here, and it's giving me another document to download. And oh my God, what am I going to do? You got to do a better prompt to start off with. Guys, that's the key. Having the key is understanding what the hell you want to get out of this rather than just going in and going, ugh. You want to have some pre-thought before you go into forethought, rather. I think that's a forethought's a better term. But you need to really consider what you want to get out of this whole AI scenario, this whatever tool you're using. So if you know what you want, what you should do is maybe use a tool to help you write that prompt. There's one tool that I want to just highlight here, and it's called Prompt Engineer. And you can find that on the, if you're in a GPT marketplace, you can see them. I think it's an OpenAI, but there are other ones out there. Basically, what you would do is instead of saying, I need a report on this, that, and the other, which is absolutely the worst way of putting a prompt into any sort of AI. You always want to name the position the AI would have. So if I'm asking for a break-even analysis of some data that I found on the internet for a competitive analysis, I would say, I need you to act as a financial expert who specializes in break-even analysis and provide me with boom. But what if you don't got those skills to pay the bills just yet? Use a prompt engineer. You can add that. They're mostly free. You can find one. You can add it into your GPT. As soon as you use it, it will automatically add it in there. And then you just say, you start off with, I need a prompt that. And you say what you want to get out of it. And you be as specific as possible because, folks, that's what you need to do. You can't just say, I want a prompt that's going to help me do a break-even analysis. Okay, cool. On what outcome do you want? Is it going to be, do you want just some dialogue on a sheet? Do you want it in a spreadsheet? Is it going to be exported? There's more to it. How is it going to be utilized? Why does that even matter? Because if you give the full project breadth to the AI tool, it will help logically prepare what you need to take it to that next level. You get me? You following? It's different from just the normal Google searching and requesting. You have to be a little bit more specific. So that prompt engineer custom GPT is phenomenal. You just say, I need a prompt for creating a break-even analysis for the oil and gas company from first quarter 2025 to second quarter of whatever, and I need it to be in a spreadsheet format. I want to highlight these 5 companies in the analysis. I want to also get some suggestions on what sort of graphical analysis and presentation items that I could put related to this data. I'm going to be meeting with the CEO of the company in a few weeks, and I want to be able to really dazzle them with the highs and the lows in the analysis that I'm going to create. That's telling somebody almost everything. I'm sure there's more specifics you can put in there, like company name, website, other stuff. But that's how you can get started. Then that will give you a prompt. Is that the end of the road? No. You copy the prompt and you put it into a new message and you see what happens. And then you edit. So this will give you a running start. So you don't have to get a bunch of rando garbage. Look at how that prompt is written too. And then look at what that prompt will give you as opposed to the prompt that you may have used. Look at the difference between those, because that's how you learn to be better at doing this, by looking at how a really effective answer comes out and what did I say to get that. That's the lightning in the bottle that you want to capture when using AI. You want to find out where those little nuances were that really light it up for you. Okay. So I don't want to get too much further into this, but Prompt Engineer is the tool. It is available, I believe, on the OpenAI marketplace. So download it, add it, try it out, and let me know what you think. Is it shit? You love it? Terrible? Good? Bad? Ugly? I don't know. Tell me. I really do. I probably use it, once every few days. I used it a lot more when I started out, because when I started using it, I was just like a lot of people out there that have just started using it. This wasn't around forever. Just because we're digital marketing people doesn't mean that we've been waiting on this to come to fruition. Some people have, but I wasn't. And it happened. So I had to learn it. You evolve, you grow. It's marketing, but you'll have fun with it. Try it out. And I hope you get some really great results with that. Then we have just a thank you, really, for all of you guys and gals out there for tuning in. The Bulletproof Marketer is all about helping you. And the links in this bio, you can check out all of our different episodes. You can check out the Go Agency if you need some digital marketing help. If you want to get me as a guest on one of your podcasts, give me a holler. I'm always here to help. But yeah, so there are a lot of ways for us to connect and engage. But let me know if you have any questions or anything. I'm not going to bite. I love solving problems. You know what? I don't like doing puzzles like jigsaws, but problems like this, like marketing issues or structural issues in leadership or marketing and sales departments coming together, love. So please reach out to me. You can DM me. I'm not going to be freaked out. My link to my LinkedIn profile is in the show notes. Connect with me, ask me your question. I'm happy to help whenever way I can. All right, folks, it has been a wonderful episode, everyone. I think let's give you some homework, right? Dive into one untapped LinkedIn lever this week. Maybe set up a service listing, re-engage a link on a LinkedIn event, or splash into 2 to 3 niche groups. Do it. Why not? Who's stopping you? It's free. Another bonus is if you want to find Prompt Engineer on the OpenAI marketplace, add it up and try it out. See how it goes. The next episode, I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about because I have some ideas kicking around. So if there's anything really that you want me to jump into, send me a message, send me a DM. Tell me if there's an issue that you want. I know AI has been the overriding request, but I feel like that can be a little tiring, especially with the fact that a lot of the AI topics are directly related to items that aren't being used correctly. If you're not using this correctly, the AI is not going to make you use it. I'm working through that, but that's my process, not yours. I promise. I will have something great lined up for us next week. Please hit subscribe, leave a review. And if you like the episode, you are going to love the gaps that we're going to close on the next one, folks. You guys are legends. Thank you so much for joining me. Christopher Tompkins, Bulletproof Marketer. Until next time, folks. Bye.